Thank you, Pastor. Why don't we give the good family of Woodlawn Baptist a good hand for hosting us here tonight. Thank you, Pastor. Tonight, some would say America is at a crossroads. However, here in Louisiana, we're at a cliff. We're at a cliff because we continue to look at yesterday's failed attempts as our answers, instead of longing for the change it will take to produce tomorrow's dreams. We're at a fiscal cliff. It sees a budget that is a disaster. With almost $1 billion of red ink looming in January, what are we to do? We're at an educational cliff, ranking 48, 49 in almost every ranking. We're at a social cliff that has produced the greatest shakeup to the traditional family in American history. Tonight, you have two fundamentally different candidates in the race for House District 66. My opponent is a career politician who believes in larger government, higher taxation. He has a consistent record of believing that higher taxes on his constituency is a good thing. He told us just a few short months ago in a special election for this very seat that he was for cutting the budget and would not support any new taxes, personally or corporate. Yet in the past session, he voted 11 separate times to increase taxes on our business community and increase 5% on all families, a bill that failed that would have cost the taxpayer an additional $4.2 billion over 5 years. If that were not enough, he supported the crown jewel of this year's legislation, the SAVE Act, which is a legal and enforcement nightmare. It is so toxic that even Mr. Orso was quoted in the New York Times as saying it was like taking his mother's castor oil. He did all of this in order to save LSU from bankruptcy, from closure. Yet the facts continue to be reported. LSU was not saved. $700 million was not enough according to last week's report in The Advocate. We will need an additional $120 million this year and close to $1 billion next year. The leadership at LSU recognizes what most of us have come to understand, that this year's legislation was as dysfunctional and divided as we've ever seen, and the measures provided in 2015 lack vision and solutions. So where do we begin? Well, first, with reform. Long-term reform, not a short Band-Aid plan. There are two sides to every business ledger. One is revenue, the other expenditures. This past year we did very little or nothing with the latter. Mr. Orso will claim cuts, but this past year these funds were only annualized cuts for the year of 2015. We need higher education reform. We have a systemic problem. This simplification has long-term benefits in multiple areas. One of them, budgetary. The state could save millions of dollars, secure LSU as the flagship, and provide better consistency to the entire high ed system. We need corporate and personal tax reform. Our tax code's out of date. It's too complicated. We have the same issues nationally. We have the opportunity to lead the way for our families on this very critical area, as well as to provide needed clarity and encouragement to our business community. With improvement in this area, the business community will thrive and provide continued growth with good jobs and small business opportunity for many. We need entitlement reform.
Mr. Edmonds, thank you for that opening statement. We're going to come back to you and address an opening question, but for time's sake, we need to move forward to Mr. Orso. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Orso.
Good evening again, Pastor Lewis. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight and addressing everyone. 16 years ago, I ran for the East Baton Rouge Parish Metropolitan Council, and I won that seat in November of 1999. At that time, the motto was, and that motto is still today, working together to build a better community. And we have to work together to find solutions for the problems. Every problem has a solution, but every solution also has a cost. And we can make cuts, or we can provide revenue for those solutions. We have to look at ways to make them happen. We constantly hear of the traffic problems that we're faced with in this parish and this state. We have a $12 billion backlog of transportation projects statewide, $5 billion backlog of projects in the Capital Region alone. Now, to make those projects get off the drawing board and into reality, we have to pay for them. We are paying for them right now by sitting in traffic, wasting time, wasting gas. wasting the precious resources that we would like to do other things, improve our business community, improve the time we spend with our children and grandchildren. So those are challenges that we face every single day. And the longer we pretend that the problem will be fixed by a few $100 million here or there, you can't fix $5 billion of backlogs with $100 million extra every year. You just won't ever catch up. So there are solutions that we have to work together. Getting down in the weeds, finding the details, makes it that challenge. While in the Metropolitan Council, in August of 2005, you, the voters, approved the Green Light Plan. $700 million of your taxes have been spent on improving the roads and bridges across East Baton Rouge Parish. That's something that we did, working together, finding a solution. The untold story about the Green Light Plan is 80%, I think 75% of the projects in the Green Light Plan have been on the books for some 25 years. Recently, we had the ribbon cutting for Stumberg Lane Extension. Back in 2000, I proposed the creation of the Stumberg Lane Extension. A few tweaks later, it was put in the Green Light Plan, it was approved, and it shouldn't take 15 years for a road project to be completed, but when you have no money and you have to wait for funding, that's one of the realities that happens. Now, we hear a lot about the budget. $1.6 billion deficit. Yes, it was unprecedented time. We did make over $500 million of spending cuts, and I have them here in the list if you'd like to look at it, or I can email it to you later on. We only have about $3 billion in our discretionary budget to make these changes. So when you have to cut $1.6 billion out of $3.9 billion, it's a real challenge. We have to fund hospitals, prisons, education. We did provide increased funding for education. We provided increased funding for many essential services. Our hospital systems have been protected. Yes, we have to go back and do more, but we have to check to find the time and make the effort to fix the challenges in our budget process, which of course is the government that starts that. We also have to look at our tax code. We have lots of challenges in our tax policy across the state. You can't keep giving away half of the revenue that you collect and expect to stay in business. So I present to you that it was a tough session. We made difficult decisions, and Grover Norquist, we all know who Grover Norquist is, he approved of the SAVE measure. So we have the blessing from Grover Norquist that Governor Jim needed to have that issue resolved.
Thank you, Mr. Orso. Ms. Davis.
Thank you. I think I'll stand. I like to talk with my hands. I'm going to take these few minutes to introduce myself to you guys. I'm Paula Davis. I am running for state representative in House District 69, along with Mr. Heck. And I am from Breaux Bridge. I was born and raised in Breaux Bridge, and I moved to Baton Rouge when I was 17 years old to go to LSU. Moved here a week after I graduated from high school, public school, went to public school K through 12. Public school K through 12, graduated, moved to Baton Rouge. I started working in the Senate as a page when I was 17 years old, and that's when I had my first fall in love with Louisiana politics and government, and I decided that I would make that my career, and so I went into political science and history, and those were my majors in college. After college, I worked in association management and government relations, and I was also Deputy Commissioner of Insurance in the Department of Insurance over the Office of Property and Casualty. And during that time, when I was Deputy Commissioner of Insurance, I was over the Office of Property and Casualty during Hurricanes Katrina and Hurricane Rita. Very challenging times. That's when I learned a lot about leadership. Leadership to me is three things. Leadership means listening, leadership means teamwork, and leadership means seeing the potential in other people. And that's what we need right now in our state in Louisiana. We're facing great challenges. You just heard a few of them from these folks up here. We need someone who can see the potential in people, who can work with other people as a team. Because anyone who tells you that they can get things done at the Capitol alone can't. You have to work as a team. We have to have someone that can work with local leaders, state leaders, federal leaders to get the funding we need to fund some of these projects. Teamwork has been the backbone of my whole campaign, and it's what I've known for 20 years working in business and as Deputy Commissioner of Insurance. I look forward to being your next state representative. I look forward to working as a team at the Capitol to get things done, to improve our capital city, to continue to improve Louisiana. I think you just saw in the business report, I think it was yesterday, that Louisiana is a very wonderful place to come and do business. It's very enticing. We have lots of great things to offer here in Louisiana. We want to keep that going. And we can only do that as working as a team. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Mr. Heck.
I'm going to sit. Hi, thank y'all so much for inviting me. Thank you, Louis, for putting this on. My name is Ryan Hack. I'm an outspoken conservative leader on the Metro Council here for 3 years, and now I'm running to be your next state representative. And in my mind, the voters of District 69 have two clear, very distinct choices. They call these elections, but as I see it, District 69 is basically, this is a job interview. You're hiring someone to go up there and do the work at the Capitol for you. I'm not part of the political establishment. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lobbyist. I'm a small businessman. I operate a new startup. We opened October 1 of last year, Little Ready Mix Company. I know what hard work is. It's raining this week, so you won't see me at the plant at 2 o'clock in the morning, but when the sun is shining and the moon is out, I'm normally at the plant or on the job site working alongside my guys at 2 a.m. I have an engineering degree from LSU, and I have a master's in business administration from LSU. I know what it's like to sign the front of a paycheck. I know how to make the hard decisions, and I know how to balance a budget. I have to do that at my home and in my business. And I know what it's like to pay my employees and my vendors before I pay myself. And I know the struggles that hardworking families go through every day. My wife, Lordana, who's here, we face the same struggles that y'all do. I'm the type of person that you'd want to hire to go to work for you at the state capitol. I have your conservative principles at heart. We share those same conservative principles. I believe in the right to life, I believe in the Second Amendment, and I firmly believe in religious liberty. My first reaction upon going up to the Capitol won't be to raise your taxes. Our tax burden is pretty significant. My goal is to get up there and find efficiencies and cut wasteful spending. I believe we need to narrow the scope of what we try to achieve as a government, and we need to fund it properly and do it well. I have a plan to grow the economy. Improving our traffic infrastructure and fixing broken schools is going to take Baton Rouge to the next level. Everyone in this room knows that those are our two issues. We got to get the federal government out of our schools. We have to bring local control and give parents options. These are the things that I'd like to accomplish as your state representative. Again, thank y'all for having me tonight, and I look forward to answering, I know we all look forward to hearing from y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hack.